Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm going to go through today's Murph Prep Monday. It's going to be our last Murph Prep Monday. Memorial Day is coming up next week, so this is the last one, fortunately, and let's go through those movements. Alright, so you're going to go through 6 to 8 sets of these total, and if you're in really good shape, you're feeling pretty good, 8 sets, no problem, good for you. If you're tired and it's been a while since you've done a long workout, maybe stick to 6 sets. Okay, so it's going to be 30 seconds of work, 30 seconds of rest, and then at the very end there's a minute of air squats, and then without any rest you go right back to the beginning. Okay, so for the first 30 seconds, we're going to go do some cardio. So cardio, you could just do high knees, try to get those knees above perpendicular, so above the hip line. You could bend your elbows 90 degrees so you have a target to shoot for. Or if that's difficult, you just want to run in place, that's fine too. You could also do butt kicks. All right, jumping jacks are good. If jumping around is difficult on your body, you could just march. Okay, so you could do any of those. You can mix it up throughout the rounds, or you could do 10 reps of high knees, 10 reps of butt kicks. You could do a combination, whatever works, about 30 seconds of some sort of moving around. So you can mix it up, or you could just stick to one movement. You could also do different movements throughout those rounds. Okay, so you're going to take a 30-second rest after that. Then you're going to go into some rows. All right, so you're going to want a dumbbell or 2, and we're going to do either bent over row, or you could do a plank into an alternating row. If you just have one dumbbell, you could do a bent over row for 15 seconds on one side, 15 seconds on the other. If you're going to do a plank, you could do 15 seconds on that one side. Remember to keep shoulders and hips square, and 15 seconds on the other. Or if you just have one heavy one, you could go rows with one object using both arms. Another option would be using the band for the rows. So you could step on the band, creating different kinds of tension. You can make it shorter to get more tension, or make it longer to have less tension. You could do one arm, you could do both arms at the same time, just like with a dumbbell. Another option would be to do some seated rows. So you're going to hook it on to a table, a doorknob, something to hold it stable, and you could do, obviously this table is too light, but you get the idea. If I had a heavy table, maybe I could throw my dumbbells on there to keep it stable. I could do some seated rows. Another option you have, and I don't recommend doing this for all the sets, but you could do some bicep curls. So you can alternate like a set of rows and some set of bicep curls, or you could do like, 6 sets of rows and then the last 2 sets bicep curls. But definitely try to get more rows in than biceps. But if you get tired of doing lots and lots of rows, you can switch to bicep curls to kind of change it up, right? So there is your next 30 seconds work, and then you're going to take 30 seconds rest. And we're going to go into push-ups. So let's work on good push-ups. Straight line from the head to the feet, squeezing your glutes. So good plank position here, and you're going to keep that straight line as you bend your elbows, lower your chest to the ground, and then you're going to push up. So at no point did I let that line break. All right, so stay tight and make sure you're going all the way down and up. You could always modify by doing elevated push-ups. Or you could do, again, just like the bicep curls, change up some rounds by doing some tricep extensions. So instead of doing, let's say 8 total sets of just push-ups, you can mix in some tricep extensions. If you're going single arm, do 15 seconds on each arm. You could go skull crushers, doing 2 hands, 1 dumbbell. You could switch the grip. All right, so many ways to modify that. So you take 30 seconds rest, and then I'm gonna finish off with a minute of air squats. We're doing more air squats because in Murph, we do have 300 total air squats, so trying to get a little bit more volume in those air squats before next week. And try to go all the way down, hip crease below parallel, and make sure you open up your hips all the way and tell your shoulders, hips, knees, ankles align. Okay, so all these movements, so it's a minute of air squats, and then you don't take a rest between the minute and going back to the cardio. So you're doing a minute of air squats, you're going up and down, and then that 56 seconds, 57, you go all the way to a minute, and you go right back into your cardio. Okay, so with that being said, what we're working on here is just some sort of constant pace, constant movement. So I'm looking at about 80% effort, right? That doesn't mean, so when you're doing your air squats, you're not trying to do as many as you can for a minute and go all out 100%. You're going about 80% and just trying to move through those rounds at a constant pace and trying to get basically the same amount of reps throughout those sets, all right? So at first round, you might get 25 air squats. If you're going 80%, by the last round, you should be able to maintain that pace. So if it was 25 the first round, you know, set 6, set 7 or so, it should be about 25. So it shouldn't change too much, all right? Maybe drop down to 22. But I shouldn't see 40 the first round, and then by the 5th set, you're dropped down to 25. Okay, we don't want to see that. We want to see constant pace where you're working pretty hard, but not all out. So again, about 80% effort, just comfortably moving through those 30 seconds, through that minute, and then you get to take a rest. So you do get some recovery time, and then you're moving on to the next movement. All right, so complete 68 sets of that total, and then you're gonna finish off with 800 to a mile run at the very end. So that's an optional cash out. If you have time, then go for it. If you've been running a lot, 1 mile is no problem. Try to go for that mile. If time's short, you felt like you got a good workout and you don't want to run at all, that's totally fine. If you want to get a little bit of running in, 800 meters, that's totally fine too. So whatever you can fit in, whatever your body's feeling up to, try to get it in. And that's today's workout, and hopefully that'll prepare you somewhat for next week.